Blizzard has finally announced a new expansion for Hearthstone, so stay tuned. I've got all the details, including some new cards and some free stuff, and a new game mode. Hi everyone, Aerosounds here. So today at BlizzCon, Blizzard has released a bunch of new Hearthstone details, so let's get right into it, starting with the name of the new expansion, which is Kobolds and Catacombs. Now, a lot of people were worried that this would be a pirate-themed expansion, but fortunately that's not the case. I think that's a good thing. It would have been a mistake. I think a lot of people would have switched off quite early if they'd seen a lot of pirates. But this expansion promises to focus on monsters, treasures, and traps, and in Ben Brode's own words, it's going to have a classic fantasy dungeon crawling vibe. Another exciting announcement from today's presentation is the introduction of a new game mode, which is called the Dungeon Run. Now, this is a new single player mode which is going to be introduced with the new expansion, and it's going to be completely different to any of the other single player modes so far. So it's being described as a Hearthstone roguelike. So the way it works is you have to fight against various different bosses. It's going to be a total of 8 bosses per run, and you start with a deck of 10 cards, and each time you beat a boss you will discover new cards to add to your deck to make it more powerful to then take on the next boss. However, the twist is, and what makes it more like a roguelike, is if you lose, then your deck gets wiped and you have to start again from the beginning at 1. So there's plenty of replay value in here, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something completely brand new for Hearthstone, and the best thing about it is it's going to be completely free. You don't need to use any of your own cards. It's completely separate, so the cards that you can use are provided. So that really is a good step forward in terms of making this a more free-to-play friendly game. Okay, so let's get into the exciting part, which is the card reveals for the new expansion. Now, the first card that they revealed, which was actually announced before the event, is Marin the Fox. Now, the good news about this card is everybody is going to be getting this card for free. All you have to do is to log in after Monday the 6th of November. All you have to do is log in and you'll get given this card for free. It is a legendary, so that is fantastic news. Everybody who attended BlizzCon or bought the BlizzCon virtual ticket will be getting a golden version, but to be honest, it's a free card, so that's great news. Now, what they did reveal about this card today was the battle cry, and the battle cry for this legendary is summon a 0-8 treasure chest for your opponent, and you break it for awesome loot. So the way it works is you play the card, the treasure chest appears on your opponent's side of the board. If you deal enough damage to it, you can then reveal some treasure. Now, they've also shown us what the treasure cards will be. There's going to be 4. They all cost 3 mana. The first one is a minion, a golden kobold, so it works a lot like the golden monkey which we saw in previous expansions, but this one, Taunt Battlecry, replace your hand with legendary minions. Now, that can be really powerful depending on how many cards you've got in the hand, but also because it's random legendaries, you never know what you're going to get. So that's what makes Hearthstone fun, but doesn't necessarily mean that that would be a good play. Next card, which is crazy in my opinion, is Tolin's Goblet. And what this does is you play it and you draw a card and you fill your hand with copies of it. So I think this has potential to be amazing, and it also has a potential to be terrible. So firstly, you don't know what your next card is going to be, so you could get terrible cards. Secondly, it depends on how many cards you've already got in your hand. So if you've already got 8 cards in your hand, you're not going to be able to draw many copies of the next card that you draw. So that one's going to be a lot of fun as well. Not sure whether it's going to be good or bad. We'll have to see. Next treasure is Wondrous Wand. I think this one's a really good card actually. For 3 mana, draw 3 cards and reduce their cost to 0. That is an incredible card. Drawing 3 cards for 3 mana is insane in the first place, but then to reduce them to 0, that's going to be one that I really would probably be looking for to get out of the treasure chest. Final one is Zarog's Crown. This one, discover a legendary minion and then summon 2 copies of that minion. So this also has potential to be very powerful. Rather than them being completely random, you do get to discover, so that gives you slightly more leeway on what you want to pick, and also being able to summon 2 minions for 3 mana of potential high mana cost could be really powerful. I'm quite excited about Marin the Fox, and we'll have to see how it plays into the game as it is. There is already an existing Warlock card that I'm quite interested to see how it interacts with this, and that card is called Treachery, and what this does is it allows you to give a friendly minion to your opponent. So let's say your opponent's played Marin and this treasure chest is summoned on your side. If you then play Treachery on the treasure chest, it will then go to their side and maybe you can destroy it and get the treasure out of the chest. So it's unclear whether that will actually work, but I think in the rules of the game it should work, so it'll be interesting to see how that interaction plays out. Also, how does silence work? So if you silence the chest, does it no longer give any treasure? We'll have to wait and find out. The next card revealed is called Gather Your Party, and it introduces a new keyword into the game called Recruit a Minion. To be honest, I don't really find this new mechanic very interesting. What it does is it draws a minion from your deck and places it directly into the battlefield. It's unclear how random that will be, or whether it will be discovering a minion, so we'll have to see if there's any better cards introduced to make this more interesting. The next card up is a hunter class card called Crushing Walls. It's an epic 7 mana card. It's a spell. It reads destroy your opponent's left and right most minions. So I both like and dislike this card at the moment. What I do like about it is it forces players to think about the positioning of minions. It does matter a little bit at the moment, but there aren't many cards which take advantage of the board positioning, so often you can just put your minions down wherever you like. But cards like this force you to think about where you're putting your weaker minions, where you're putting your stronger minions. What I don't like about it is it costs 7 mana, and actually it relies heavily too much on what your opponent does. So one, it sounds like your opponent has to have at least 2 or more minions, otherwise it won't be able to kill them. And 2, if they have played around it and put their weaker minions on the edge, it might not be a very good card for you to use. Next up is a Priest Legendary, and it's a weapon that costs 3 mana, has 3 durability with 0 attack. But what it does is it enables you to, after you cast 3 spells in a single turn, you'll summon a 5/5 dragon. So this is clearly aimed at a Lyra the Sunshard kind of deck, so you play a lot of low cost spells and hopefully you can summon some 5/5 dragons as well. Too early to tell whether this card will be good. I think we'll have to see what other pre-spells come out in the expansion. But what is interesting about this card reveal is that Ben Brode said that each of the 9 classes in Hearthstone will be getting a legendary weapon for this expansion. So much like the quests and the Death Knights before it, I think these cards are going to be unique to each class, and it'll be interesting to see what the rest of them are. Okay guys, that's all I've got for now. Blizzard will be revealing more cards throughout the day, so I will be doing more videos on the new cards and details that come out. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.